sequence of those commands into the batch programming language, and then you execute it, right? It's pretty limiting, but the thing is that from that limiting language, I was able to create some very good programs, right? So one of the programs I created was a ransomware. I created a ransomware. I created different types of malwares for ethical purposes, of course. Like I created zip bombs, I created fork bombs, and worms, and all of that, right? So just a little backstory. Right now, I want to ask a question to you all first, right? So how many of you over here want to become millionaires in future? Yeah, answer it like, if you raise your hand, you are going to become one. If you're not raising your hand, you're not going to become one.
Okay, very interesting.
We want
Yes.
to become.
Okay.
We all want.
Okay, sure. Okay, so now would you believe me if I were to tell you that there is a way to become a millionaire by not doing a job, by not doing any kind of business, not doing any kind of trading, of course not doing any kind of gambling, right? You wouldn't believe me, right? But there is. And that is the topic of today's TED Talk. I will teach you how you could make money as a hacker. Okay, so first of all, I would like to tell you about a person. He is called Tommy DeVos, right? He is a very good hacker, and he was born in 1984. And when he was born, after that, when he was 9 years old, he got suspended from his school for doing illegal hacking on the school network, right? And after that, he went on to hack into organizations like the FBI and the CIA and stuff like that. Later, after that, he got into the black hat side of cybersecurity, and often the CIA and the FBI, they knocked on his door, and it became all over for him, right? It came to a point, like he went to jail so many times, it came to a point that the judge that was prosecuting him, he said to him that if I see you again in my court, I will give you a life sentence, right? So it was that serious, and that was the time when he decided to stop all this. And then the next thing that he wanted to do was to get a real job, right? But the thing is that if I were to ask you that, hey, you're a person who has no degree, who has no certifications, and you have on top of that a criminal record, right? Would you get a job at that time, right? Because even in this time, you have computers and you have all kind of online work, right? At that time, it was pretty impossible, right? But right now, he is a multimillionaire. He is a senior security engineer at a multi-million-dollar firm called Braze in the United States, right? So how did it all happen, right? How did the transition go from being completely broke, having no jobs, to somebody who is a multi-millionaire, right? A senior security engineer. How did that happen? Well, the answer to that is bug bounty programs. So bug bounty programs, to those who don't know, basically companies, they pay hackers with experience to hack into their systems because, well, the companies want them to hack into their systems and report to them because they want to basically fix those bugs before the real bad hackers find them, right? And don't get me wrong, it's not like a real job. It pays really well, right? You can get, for a simple bug, you could get $100, right? If it's a little more severe, like a medium severity bug, you could get over $10,000, right? $10,000 is like 87,000 rupees for a single bug. For a 5-6 hours of work, it's a lot, right? And stuff like that. Hackers reportedly have seen to be earning into millions, right? So there are some hackers like Santiago Lopez, right? He was the first hacker on the HackerOne platform to earn over $1 million, right? Then we have Tommy DeVos, the person I just talked to you about, right? Over $1 million. So how do you get started with that, right? And well, this is the topic of today's TED Talk, and basically there are 3 phases of ethical hacking, right? The first phase is reconnaissance, the second one is scanning, and the third one is exploitation. In reconnaissance, you have to gather information about the target you are approaching. You have to know what services is it running, right? What ports are open on that services, what is the business requirement of that company, and stuff like what other business providers do they take help with, right? Are they completely online or completely offline and stuff like that, right? Basic, just mapping out those attack vectors, right? Secondly, in the second stage, it's called scanning, right? This is a little different from reconnaissance, because in scanning, you actually go deep into those parts that you explored using your reconnaissance, right? So you would identify that, okay, this is a service that is running on their server. Now you would like to know what version is that service using, right? And then you would go to somewhere like exploitdb.com to find if it is possible to exploit that service. And the third stage is when you actually exploit it, when you actually write a payload, when you actually write a script to basically hack the system. So these are the three stages, very broadly said. And well, if you want to get into bug bounty, you have to be really good, because in right now's time, if I am being completely honest with you, it has become very competitive. There are hundreds of people looking at the same programs as you do, right? And if you want to be earning a lot, then you need to be very focused on finding bugs very fast and finding the lot of difficult bugs that nobody else catches. And to do that, I will give you a personal framework that I personally use. So for getting your tools right, you have to first, if you're going into any war, if you're going without an armor or without any weapons of any sort, you're going to get killed, right? So similarly, you have to get your tools right. You have to be able to master a certain set of vulnerabilities or weaknesses that you could easily exploit, and you're better than others on it, right? I personally am mastering these 4 vulnerabilities that I'm going to talk to you about. First is XSS, cross-site scripting. Cross-site scripting is a technique in which you inject arbitrary JavaScript code inside a website to maybe delete users, right, or gain information about more users, right? People say that it's eradicated in today's era because every new modern website has handles XSS by default, right? Every new modern web framework handles it by default, but that's completely untrue. In PHP, if you want to handle XSS, if you want to protect against XSS, it's pretty difficult, right? Because there are again a lot of attack vectors that you could target, and 70% of the web is PHP, right? So still there are ways in which you could write a simple XSS payload. I have personally seen reports that earn over $100,000 from a simple XSS payload, right? The second vulnerability that I recommend using is IDORs, right? Insecure direct object reference. IDORs are basically a vulnerability in which so let's say that you are hitting an endpoint like /users/1, right? If I just change that 1 to 2 and the server does not validate my request, then I could view the information of that second user that I don't have access to, right? So basically I am able to view the information of personal information of other viewers that I therefore don't have access to. So this is sensitive data exposure, which is a common vulnerability weakness, right? And it is, in my opinion, one of the most common vulnerabilities of this time, and it is very easy to find, it is difficult to fix, and therefore I recommend it. The third vulnerability, which is a wild card in my opinion, is that if you master this vulnerability, then you have an edge against all of these top hackers. It's called SSRF, server-side request forgery, right? What I'm saying is this, because it's like a little bit difficult to explain verbally, because so let's picture a thumbnail, right? So you have a video, you have posted a video, now you have to provide a thumbnail. So you enter some URL, right? The server takes that URL, downloads that image and posts it onto the client side, right? But what if you enter a malicious URL, right? The server would download that and post it over there, right? So basically this way you could exploit it and you could gain sensitive information like passwords stored locally and all of that, right? So these are some of the so these are some of the common vulnerabilities that you could use to get started with bug bounty, right? And the thing is that you don't really need to be a genius to get started into bug bounty, but you really need to get these initial steps right, because after this the journey is very simple. You just need to sign up on platforms like HackerRank, Integrity, Bugcrowd. You just need to open these programs and just try your hands out, right? And you would then get better with experience, right? And that was for my today's talk. If you are really excited about this, then you could contact me. Maybe we can learn together about this. But thank you.
Excellent progress. Excellent. What did you do for this improvement?
Actually, ma'am, I like when I came here, I thought I had a pitch deck.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that. Yeah, I had prepared for the pitch deck. So then I found out when Kavya was presenting that you had a tech talk. So I prepared for that.
Okay. So a lot of improvement in your gesture. You used a variety of hand gesture. Earlier you used to just stare up most of the time while speaking, but this time the eye contact was just very excellent, very fluent, and the way you started was wonderful. Your narration style was very good. Overall, I'm quite impressed. Yes.
Yeah.
Feedback from you all?
Great expressions of it. It was really informative. I mean, it gave the feel of a TED Talk more than what we all.
Yes, yes, correct. He had storytelling, he had information, he had everything.
Audience interaction.
Audience interaction, even those who are not willing to interact also he made them raise their hand, like kind of a, that was good. There was storytelling, there was, questions that he asked, involvement of the audience.